awesome. That is actually a really good answer. So I was going to save these for later, but you're going to MLG Dallas, it looks like. Uh, let's take a little step back from that. What was your first competitive LAN experience? It doesn't have to be for StarCraft, could be for any game, but what was your first real one?
I played Soul Calibur 2 at a really high level. And like the fighting game scene in the state of Georgia, I live in Atlanta, is really big. And at the time, I was going to all these local tournaments around Georgia, and I was always losing to the same guy, Rob the Destroyer, RTD. And I always felt bad because Rob would always beat me, and I could never win anything here in Georgia. But then Rob went to France, and he won the World Championship, so I didn't feel so bad after that. My first truly competitive experiences in quote esports is in the fighting game genre. I've never played at a LAN for RTS, but I'm looking forward to it, and I really can't wait for Dallas. I'm so excited just to meet everybody and to put names with faces and things of that nature.
That is awesome. So you are going to MLG Dallas. What is your goal? Do you just want to win the first round? Do you want to make it to the round? Like, what is your overall goal for MLG Dallas?
Well, the God's honest truth, the reason I'm going is to meet people and to network and to continue to build relationships with these people in the community. I have a lot of plans for the show that will extend beyond 12 weeks, which is actually ending in 2 weeks. And a big part of that is going to be knowing players and getting them to say, yeah, sure, I'll come on your show. I would be lying if I didn't say I had hopes of victory. Is it realistic to think that I'll go and beat the likes of Idra and In Control and those guys? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't expect to win. I'd be very, very happy if I could get to top 32. And I feel like it is within my capabilities as a player to get within the top 32. And I would be disappointed if I came up short.
All right. Well, you did bring up the future of your show. We're going to save that for later in this interview. But right now, we're going to go a little bit more on the player side of it. So people want to know, if you were to have a best of 3, best of 5, best of 7 with anyone in the world, doesn't matter if they're Korean, European, anybody, and it was to be televised in a way such as the Clash of the Titans, Jidner versus Idra, who would it be?
Oh, it'd have to be MC, man. I think ZVP is the hardest matchup in the game right now. And I feel like playing against him, I guess on screen for the world to see would be awesome. I think ZVP is really hard. I definitely agree with what everybody's saying. I think Zerg is lacking a couple tools there, but I also think ZVP is winnable. And if I could take a single game off of MC, it would probably never happen. But if I could take a single game off of MC, it would give a hell of a lot of credibility to that statement.
Oh yeah, if that was to be the show match to see, and you were to win one game, I would be impressed. That would be an awesome thing. Doesn't matter if he beat you 32 games and you beat him 1. The fact that you beat OGSMC was quite a feat.
Yeah, 7 pool.
I would do it too. So let's go back to more player-based stuff. Who is your favorite player throughout the entire community? Who do you get along with the most, excluding In Control right now? Because I have a feeling it might be him, but...
Yeah, I've got huge love for Jeff. He's the reason that our show took off like it did, and I can't. If my answer can't be In Control, then who's my favorite player that I get along well with? Doesn't
even have to be that. Who are you a fan of? Even just who do you respect the most as a player?
I'm a huge fan, a tremendous giddy little schoolgirl fanboy of Damaga. Love his play. It blows me away every time I see it. Also a big fan of Titan, who was on 12 Weeks once. And if you guys haven't seen that VOD, you need to check it out, because Titan is one of the best Zerg players, if not the best Zerg player in North America. I'm serious, and nobody knows him because he doesn't go to these big LANs. So Titan and Damaga are my 2 fanboy picks.
All right, I enjoy both those players as well. So if you have those are your favorite players, who would have to be your rival if you had to pick one? Say if you got into NASL somehow and you have to answer that question, who would you pick to be your rival?
It would be J-Mag, that dirty French-Canadian bastard that's always playing against me on stream. Hands down, bar none.
All right, that works. So earlier you said you're going to MLG Dallas more to network your show.
Hmm.
Are you able to talk a little bit here about what your future, like the future plans for your show is?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's not a big secret. We're going to continue bringing pros on the show, and we're going to continue, sharing that knowledge with the community. And I think the biggest next step is getting away from just being purely Zerg focused. We've done 12 weeks when this is all over, just talking about how to be better Zerg players. And there's a huge outcry and a huge demand in the community for that kind of thing for the other races. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to turn around and focus the limelight right on somebody else. And the format may be a little bit different. What I'm leaning towards right now is just like a month-to-month thing. We'll talk about Terran for a month. We'll talk about Protoss for a month. We'll revisit Zerg for a month. And we're just going to keep it going as long as people keep watching.
Now, the more you're like, once this happens, your stream views are going to skyrocket more than likely, especially when you're getting these big players on the show. What is your plan, streaming wise? Do you plan on trying to stream almost every day? Do you plan on trying to make this, a huge full-time thing where you're spending a lot of focus on the show trying to get it as big as possible, or is it just going to still be, doing it kind of as much as possible, but not, full-time?
Well, I would love for it to be full-time. I would love to do a show every single day. Right now, the real limitation there is just money, because I feel like these pros deserve to be paid for their time, and unfortunately, I can't pay $100 a day to get a pro on, but I can pay $100 3 times a week to get a pro on. So that for the time being, that's what it's going to be. If any sponsors out there are listening, I'd love to plug your product in exchange for getting professional players on my show. But this is what we're going to do. We're going to keep bringing guys on, and I'm going to keep paying them to coach because they deserve it as pro players, and I'm going to keep sharing that with the community because the community deserves it, because that's how you grow esports, by connecting things and by being open with knowledge, not by being like, you can't see my replays, they're secret, like people were in Brood War.
Right on. So you do pay your players. A lot of people don't actually know that you pay the people you're coaching.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully there are future sponsors for your show. Have you begun looking for sponsors or like anything at all on that sort of level?
I've never directly gone out and asked for a sponsor, and really the whole thing, it just kind of dawned on me the other day that, hey, maybe somebody would be willing to sponsor something like that. I really would hate for this to turn into us talking about money the whole time. But I mean, that's just kind of a fact of life. These things are all driven by the almighty dollar, and if somebody can benefit by getting the name of their product out there, and in turn the StarCraft community can benefit by learning from these amazing pro players, man, I'm going to gobble that up. But I mean, at the same time, if nobody ever offered to help us at all, the show would still go on. This is something I'm passionate about and I care about, and I'll continue to fund it on my own dime until I run out of money.
Great answer. So we are going to slip away from the money here, go back to StarCraft 2 related stuff. A lot of people are interested in your play. They do see it quite frequently on your stream, but let's go through, like, what's your favorite matchup? ZVZ, ZVT, ZVP.
As hard as it is, I think ZVP is probably my favorite matchup, just because it's the one I think that I have the most understanding of. I enjoy it a lot. I think it's a lot of fun. I just think it's really, really fucking hard. Excuse my language.
Yeah, it's all right. This is we had Destiny on a show yesterday, and that guy, he's a very open-minded young man, so you can expect a lot of F-bombs to be dropping, which is fine. So, if you had to play a matchup against, one of each race, who is your... These are all user questions, by the way, or viewer questions. Mm-hmm. Who would you have to... If you had, like, a practice partner to train for the best tournament of life, you're in the finals, if you had to pick one person from each race, who would those practice partners be?
Well, I mean, In Control absolutely is not just a great player, but he's one of the smartest guys in the StarCraft community. And he's the most popular coach in the StarCraft community because he's the best coach in the StarCraft community. And to practice with him and to have that kind of knowledge base at my disposal, I would love that. The other guys who I would like to have to work with me are 11 Gaming's Gerbil, who is also one of the smartest guys I know in the StarCraft community. He was on the show once. Doesn't get nearly enough credit. He's amazing, and every single thing he does is justified through math and through studying the game. So he would be another tremendous practice resource I would like to pull from. And for the last one, a Terran player, I would probably have to pick LZ Gamer, just because I've worked with the guy in the past, and he's, my heart goes out to you, LZ. Your results haven't been the best lately, but he's still one of the most knowledgeable, friendliest guys in the world, and the insights he's given me in my ZVT play have completely changed the way I approach the matchup, and my win rate has just quadrupled there.
Awesome. Those are actually three great players. I would have to agree that those are great choices. Now, more user questions. What all can we see you at this year? A lot of people, they're going to MLG Dallas now. And what other are you plan on going to all MLGs? You plan on going to DreamHacks? You plan on just going to every possible land, or what can we expect to see you at least?
I'm going to go to every North American event that is realistically, I guess. What's the word I'm looking for? It's this within reason,
Right on.
I'm actually road tripping it to Dallas because I'm bringing all my computer stuff with me. I'm going to try to stream the finale for 12 weeks from Dallas. So I'm going to road trip it to that. But the stuff on the West Coast, I want to be at. If I have to fly out there, then I'll fly out there. I'm going to go to as many of these North American events as I can. The stuff in Europe, I don't know if it's realistic financially for me to go to something like that, because a round trip ticket to Europe is a little bit pricey these days.
Yeah, it is. So let's go on to this is a funny little question. A lot of people actually ask us though, where did you get your ID, your handle?
Mrbitter. Man, that is a long question. All right. I'm going to try it. To really understand the handle, Mrbitter, you have to understand what I mean when I use the word bitter. And to understand that, you have to understand my family a little bit. Bitter is a phrase that my dad and his brother coined. My dad and my uncle. And my uncle is a very special man. And if I were to describe him in a word, that word would be bitter. But I don't mean bitter in that he's spiteful and angry towards the world. I mean bitter in that he's just really out there. For example, my uncle got arrested for trying to smuggle live turkeys across the Canadian border. And I don't know why anybody would do that, but that's, he went to jail for it. He's just a strange cat, and so, and when we were talking to him about it, he said, man, those Canadian cops they're really bitter, and so after that, everything became, bitter for me and my dad. If somebody's wearing funny shoes, oh, look at those bitter shoes, or if somebody's riding around on like a funny bike, oh, look at that bitter bike, and the name Mrbitter just comes from that. It's like Dad would walk in the room and he'd be wearing some stupid outfit. Oh, Mrbitter, looking very bitter today. So that's where it comes from. I guess that doesn't make a whole lot of sense retrospectively, but that's it, man. So few of these people's game names actually do make any sense.